I'm going to record this. That way you can watch it later on if you need to. So I just wanted to help you set some goals and also see like where you're wanting to take this business. Since obviously this is the first time I've talked to you, I don't know. And, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I know you've talked to Farron and probably seen stuff within the page of them talking about coaching. What are your main objectives that you'd like to see come out of this coaching opportunity? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Elizabeth?
Yeah, sorry.
What are your main objectives that you'd like to achieve?
Honestly, I really don't know. I just want to spread the word about this program because obviously it's working for me. So it's going to work for others if they commit to it. So
what program are you doing?
Well, I started off doing Transform. So I did the full Transform, and then I did the hybrid that Joel and Shaun T put out.
Yeah.
So I did the 4 weeks of that. I finished that last Saturday. And Monday I started lift. So I'm doing straight lift, and I've been doing the 10-minute abs through the 21-day fix.
Wow. That's incredible. Really
Yeah.
great. Wow. I'm proud of you already. Don't even know you, but I'm proud of you. So do you, one of the things that I ask people, and actually I'm probably going to send you my new coach questionnaire. That way I can kind of get an idea. And then why I do this is because number one, if I'm going to be working with you, I like to kind of know what motivates you and stuff. And it's just an easy Google Doc that you just multiple choice most of the time and a couple of little answers. But I try to share this with you, especially if you're not my own coach, because if you were to sign with me, I'm going to send you a welcome email of things to do before we do a call. Well, since we're doing it a little bit backwards, I want to show you how I do it. That way, when you're bringing people in, you know how to get started. So Farron and everybody, we've been working really closely, but you are several people down. So obviously it's a little bit different. So I will send you an email and I will send you the link. That way you can kind of see the questions to ask people, because coaching is amazing. You can do incredible things. And what I was going to say is some people are motivated by they just want to have fun, and they want to be excited. Other people are hey, I'm motivated by my husband's motivated by money. Oh my God, you can make 6 figures, or, that's what he's going to go for. Well, there's other people who are we just want to contribute to a cause. We want to be part of something big. We want to be part of a tribe. We want to help people. So, coaching can mean different things for different people, and it can completely change your life in ways that you never expected. So once you fill out that, I'll kind of get a better idea of that. But what I tell people on the first call is that this is a job, and if you see it, it can be a hobby. But if you treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay like a hobby. If you treat it like a business, it's going to pay you like a business. And I want people to have staying power. I've been doing this for 7.5 years, and my coach has been almost at the 10-year mark. So we have some major longevity in this team. And so it's, really important to me to help you stay on this journey. And even if coaching ends up not being your thing, we still want you here as part of our team. And, obviously you went from program to program, so you believe it, you're creating a lifestyle. We want you to be here. But what I found is that some people start their journey for themselves. I mean, everybody does.
Yeah.
And then they're oh, let's dig into the business side for whatever reason. Maybe whatever reason it appeals to them, because there's different reasons people coach. And then it doesn't work for them for one reason or the other. And then they just give up altogether. And so I try to say that in the very beginning. It's don't give up on your goals. If the business side is not your deal, then fine. But separate that from your own personal journey.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes coaching may just not fit into your life right now. I had one girl who she was in the middle of buying a house, she moved, and she was it's just not the right time for me. So also, it might not be the right time, but don't write it off for good. And what I tell people realistically is this is a job. You don't start a job and not read the job requirements. You don't not show up to work meetings. You don't look at the way the company's procedure is. You wouldn't just show up after day one or week one and be oh, I suck at this, I quit. And people do that with coaching. This is skills that can be taught. You're going to have practice, just like I'm sure the day one of Transform 20, you probably were like, wow, I'm uncoordinated.
It was terrible.
Yeah, and then now look at you because you kept going. And so that's the way I want you to look at this business is give yourself some grace and understand you're not going to be perfect, but this literally, depending on your goals, it can turn into a, part-time income, a full-time income, 6 figures, or even 7 figures. So whatever it is you want to do, you can reach that. So I wanted to state that. So I am going to send you my email and the application link. That way you can go through it and it will kind of give you some step-by-steps. But the first goal is to reach out to 2 people that you know, like Farron went to Jade and then her mom. That usually when you're starting this business, you always go with the people who are closest to you or who know you. And the goal is to have people that maybe are acquaintances or even like friends of friends or through word of mouth, where you present yourself on social media, in person, where they start to know you, they start to like you, and then they trust you. And when you do that by just sharing your story, like, sharing your story about how, in my welcome email, there's like some sample posts that you can use. Okay. I tell everyone in the beginning, don't post a link because, I've seen that when people, they're like, I'm a Beachbody coach, order from me, check out and shop my site. Well, I don't do that if people post that. So I always caution people to not do that because other people, now there are so many people selling stuff on social media. As soon as they won't read it. But if you get some curiosity going of like, 4 months ago I was feeling like this, and then I saw a friend doing this, and then I tried, and like a story where, and just like, hey, I need some, support and accountability, whatever. When you say it like that, more people are going to read, and if it's a picture of you versus what I've seen people like post a picture of Transform 20, like from the website, and be like, oh, I just finished Transform 20, order if you want to join me. Well, nobody knows what that is, and so they're going to be inspired by you, and people that are inspired by you may not be inspired by me, and vice versa. So that's what the first goal is to help 2 people in your life, and they'll be helping you by helping you kick off your business. They will be helping you by supporting you in your journey, and the more people you have, the better it is. And so one thing that, I told Farron and Jade this in the beginning, that when you're starting, like, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know where to direct anybody. And I know Farron can kind of help you with like the share cart and the stuff about sending out links. But also I've always offered that if you have somebody that's interested, and, you could give your testimony about Shakeology, about, Transform 20, about being in Farron's group, but there's might be some questions that they have that you just aren't really sure of. So if you start a group message or group text, I'm always there to just kind of take the lead. I won't be doing that for you 8 weeks from now or 6 months from now, but in the beginning, because, I feel like people have to watch somebody do it, and then they have to do it kind of together before they can go out and do it on their own. And so that's the teaching principle that we want to do as coaches, is to help guide people just like you would a child, So any questions?
How did you first start out? Like how was it for you?
Fitness wise? So I was a mom with 3 kids, ages 18 months to 12. And my kids went to 3 different schools. My husband worked out of town 2 hours away for like a week at a time. He worked on the oil field, and he was home for maybe 2 or 3 days. And I weighed more when my son was 18 months than I weighed when I was 8 weeks postpartum. And we lived in a rural area, so we were pretty far from a gym, so it just wasn't feasible to drive 20 minutes in the morning to go to the gym, come back. And I found this lady on Facebook because her page was public, so she popped up in my newsfeed, and she had like killer abs. She was doing P90X2, and I had never met anyone that had abs. Like, you'd see things on TV, but I was like, holy shit, I'm like, this woman. And I was looking at her page because it was public, and her 2 boys were not much older than my son. And I was like, wait, you have 2 kids, you work, you did this all from home, and you just had, a kid 3 years ago, like crazy. So I watched her for a couple of days, and then I reached out to her. Long story short, I kind of bailed on her a couple times, and she kept following up with me because I talked myself out of it. Like, I don't want to spend the money. Something like this isn't going to work for somebody like me. But she followed up on me, and I always use that explanation, or that's part of the story, to tell people that, like, when people say no, it has nothing to do with you. It's not like they're like, Elizabeth sucks, or Farron sucks, or Mindy sucks. It's that they start talking themselves out of it. Like, I obviously knew the products worked. I knew that she was legit, but I was like, oh, I can't do this. You know, this isn't gonna work for me. I've tried everything. And so then I just like ignored her, and then I didn't follow through with the order, and it was me, not her. But she kept working with me, and she made me believe that what number one was possible, which is why I watched her. And then when we talked, she made me believe that maybe I could do it. And then I bailed out, and then she made me feel like, just try it for 30 days. And the only reason I ordered anything was because of the 30-day money back guarantee that I literally wrote on my calendar next to my computer when the day was, because I was going to call, because you can take a whole bag of Shakeology back. I was like, I'm just going to drink it all and then send it back. Well, after 13 days, I had lost a whole pants. If you look at my stories, I just actually shared some last night to today, and you can see my stories. Today I'm going to kind of unravel, but you can kind of see more about how I got started. But on day 13, she told me, well, you should become a coach, because I posted my first picture of like my pants out, and I had no idea that there was a business opportunity. I had no idea that she was even, I didn't even understand what she was doing. I thought she just worked for the company on payroll. And then when she told me, you know, that I should become a coach, the first words out of my mouth were no. And like I just said, I 1 second before that didn't even know about this opportunity, but yet I said no, even though I didn't even know it existed, or I didn't even know what I was saying no to. But we talked it out, and then it was the same thing. I'm like, I'll try it for 30 days. If I don't like it, I'll cancel it. Well, there's no guarantee of income, because it really depends on your, you know, level of like the time and energy you put into it. But within 30 days, I made like right at $900. And it's like the first week I made like $300 something, and I covered what I had paid for my initial challenge pack for P90X, because it was DVDs. Like when I started, we would have like DVDs, and we had like 6 programs. So anyways, I earned that back, and all I did was just share my journey authentically. Like, because whenever I was sharing it, I didn't even know that there was like an income opportunity. I was just talking about it because I was one of those moms who sat home, didn't have anyone to talk to, and just, I was excited that I could do something that I didn't think I could do. And so that's all I did, was share my story. And the more I did it, the more the more consistently I did it, the more I showed up on social media, the more people were like, oh, wow, you inspire me, which kept me accountable to my goals. Like, obviously you do a pretty good job, you know, being part of the group and doing it on your own. But for me, I probably would have quit if people weren't watching me, or if I hadn't have been, you know, in tune with my coach. But that's all I've done. I really stuck to what we call the 4 vital behaviors, and that's working out, drinking Shakeology, doing personal development. And I can give you some recommendations of books that I listen to while I'm putting on my makeup, while I'm doing my hair, while I'm driving, while I'm cooking. And I do all those things, and I just have gotten engaged with our team, and we're really big on recognizing people's efforts and appreciating one another and celebrating successes. But I just have done that over and over and over again for years. And after 21 months, you know, basically I poured myself into this because I started to see that, hey, I could do this, and it changed my mindset. But I was able to fire my boss, and I was making 6 figures by year 2. I did put a lot of work in it, more than most people that I see, but anybody could do it, because if I could do it under the circumstances of 3 small kids and all that, then anybody could. But and now I've been doing this full time from home for 5.5 years, and I still absolutely love it. And I think that's amazing, because I never stuck to anything, and I worked like 45 jobs leading up to this. So I've stuck to this. I've never been in one place doing the same thing for this long. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Okay. So how did you first get yourself out there, or put yourself out there on social media?
So that day 13, I woke up and I put on a pair of pants, because I didn't measure myself. I didn't have a scale, because I didn't think it mattered. Like, I was literally wearing a nursing bra and like old pair of shorts, because I was like, I'm not going to invest any more money in this. And so I took a picture, and I was just like, you know, holy shit, I'm down a pant size in 13 days. And then people were like, oh my God, like, what are you doing? And then that's when I was tagging my coach. Like, I don't know, I'm doing this P90X thing, talk to my coach. And then that's when she said, you should become a coach. So, I mean, my thing is, it's like, you just have to put yourself out there. So if you want to like kind of do bullet points of what your story is like, about like, because I don't know your story, like but if I want to know how you felt at the beginning of this year, I want to know what inspired you to be like, hey Haley, I want to do this. I want to know what you got out of being in the group. I want to know what your results are. And if you send that to me, I can help you come up with your first post. I help people with that, because I know most people, it's the start that like literally stops them, because they're like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to bother my friends. You know, so if you want to that, I can help you. And it's really important that you have your picture out there, because if you just use stock pictures, that's great, but people won't stop and look at it unless it's like a picture of you. And it could be a current picture. It could be a current picture with an old picture, or maybe an old picture when you were at your absolute ideal goal weight and you were super confident, and now that's where you want to be. I don't know. I can't tell you what one's going to be better or worse, but just, I found that if I write somebody's post and send them to them and they just post it and they just rip the Band-Aid off, then it makes it a little bit easier, and they'll realize that they're getting a lot of more support than they initially thought. Like, I did that for one of my friends, and she literally posted it, closed her computer from work, and then did not log on to Facebook till the next day. And she had like 200 likes and like tons of comments. And then she realized like, oh, and she went on to lose over 100 pounds. And, she's still here with me. She's been doing it, June will be 7 years for her. So, and the same thing, Jade and Farron, I watched their first post as they came on, and they had like 200 likes and stuff like that. I'm not guaranteeing you 200 likes, but you'll get more support than you realize. So if you want, I can help you with that.
Yeah, I posted my before and after when I did Transform, and it took me a while to actually post it because you feel so insecure of what you look like. And I know other people put on more weight, and it's more of a struggle for different people because they're going through different situations. So I posted that. I basically did what you said. I went on about my business, cooked dinner, didn't touch my phone, looked at it a little bit later because my boyfriend saw the comments because I asked for his advice and the posts and whatnot because it took me forever to actually push post.
Yeah.
And posted that. I got a bunch of feedback. I didn't get someone hey, what are you doing? I got one person, but I know she wasn't really serious because I've seen her try and sell different things. So she's just one of those people. I did get someone that was kind of interested, but I'm not quite sure if she's ready to start. It's just because it was my first thing. She was just interested in the program, what I was doing, and eating wise and whatnot. I don't know if it was yesterday, day before yesterday, I posted a comparison. When I first started, I took a picture of my work pants that I wear because I was one of those people that didn't want to all right, if I have to go to the store, I'm going to have to buy a bigger pair, and I didn't want to accept the fact that I put on more weight, so I kind of just kept wearing the same pants and stretched. And then I posted after, almost before I finished the hybrid, and the comparison of what it just looked like and how much inches were off, and I posted that. And so it's just hard putting yourself out there picture wise, knowing what you feel and what you look like, but then you feel good about yourself now because of what you've lost.
Right.
So you want to share it.
Yeah. So when I started, had I known that I would be here 7.5 years from now, literally, I would have looked a lot better in my before picture. You could just see, I literally had this old nursing bra on, these shorts that were too big that I bought on clearance. I had horrible makeup on. I literally had not had a haircut since before my son was born. And you can see how jagged it is, the color, the whatever. But I wasn't going to tell anybody. I remember asking my daughter to take pictures because it occurred to me that oh crap, I don't have anybody to take my picture. Plus, I never told my husband I bought it. Not because he cared about me spending money, but I was afraid that I didn't want that accountability. It was easier to if I failed, to just block my coach, you know what I mean, on social media. She lived in Miami, but I didn't want anybody to know. I didn't tell my best friend, but then I didn't even tell my kids. And then I lied to them. I'm okay, don't tell anybody because I'm going to surprise your stepdad. It was just so silly. And I remember standing in front of my daughter who was 11, almost 12, and I was so ashamed of who I was. And I'm kids don't judge. I was her mom, but that was kind of a turning point. But once I had results, then I didn't mind sharing my before picture because it was that before picture wasn't even who I was. This is me. But most people would never show their picture now. But once they have something compared to, look how far I came, then you're proud. So has anybody put you in the team page, the Team Relentless page? Okay, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
looking at your page, I will add you to that because I'm actually doing this 21-day challenge of giving you guys post prompts and having you do it on your Insta stories, Facebook stories, Instagram feed, Facebook profile. That's going to teach you how to be consistent on social media where it's not actually all about fitness or Beachbody, but you want to be consistent and have some good quality stuff because you need to let your audience know about you and add value to their life and get them to trust you. Like, that's how it is. Like, you need to be in a position of authority. You need to be able to give calls to action in your post. So like, you could be like, I lost 15 pounds. I feel great. Well, people are going to be like, way to go. That's awesome. What did you do?
Move on with business. Yeah.
But if you're like, hey, I was feeling this way, and then I watched Haley do this, and I was like super amazed. I thought, man, could I do this? But then I did. I lost 15 pounds, and it's really scary sharing it, but I feel so good. I want to help other people. So I'm partnering up with this chick, Mindy and Farron and Haley, and we're going to be running this group on June 3rd to help other people get started and stay on track. Do you know anybody who would be interested? Do you think that people would respond better that way than just saying, like, actually respond 6 years? So that's what's called a call to action, is you want to say stuff that invites somebody to respond and gives them something to work towards. And some people will be like, oh yeah, I want to start. And then they'll look at the money like I did and be like, I'm not worth that. I'm not going to do that. So you just keep doing it. If you always have something to invite people to, and you always have something that engages them, and it can be even something like, too, that's not really like joining a group or buying something, but you talk about meal prep or whatever, or even how your boyfriend's been supportive. You ask questions like, I'm so lucky, like post a picture of you too. I'm so lucky my boyfriend has been so supportive on this journey. I always ask him for his feedback. We've been together X amount of years. I love him because blah, 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 blah. Do you have support from your partner? I mean, something like that, where people get to know you and they have a reason to respond, because people like to hear themselves talk. So that's kind of
Zach's been really supportive. I mean, he hasn't done anything with me. I do the healthy foods, and if I have like leftovers, he gets to enjoy those. But actually, right now he's downstairs. He's doing Lyft for the first time.
Oh, well.
Yeah, he's in college, so he was like stressing with school, so he was more focused on that when I was doing Transform. And now he's back in working over the summer. So I think once he gets in the swing of things, he wants to do Lyft. That's more of his speed, the weightlifting type thing. I guess it is more so for guys. But
do you have any of the Beachbody Performance Recover?
I have the Energize.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, his arms, I'm sure if he hasn't worked out, are gonna be like, yeah. So if you have Shakeology, I would give him that like within 10 or 15 minutes of finishing, because it will help reduce the soreness, not as much as Recover. But I always tell people, like, when you're first starting something, and Lyft, man, my arms like killed me, and I work out regularly, and so I always try to caution people, because I know that a lot of people, myself back in the day, I would start something and be so sore that I would just think, like, this pain's gonna last forever.
When you first start out, you're like, oh, I can lift this because it's so easy, but it's so heavy, and then you really realize within like a week, you're like, whoa, I lifted too high.
Right, totally.
I've done that before, even when I was at the gym and I was just struggling after. I'm like, oh, my arm hurt. I would go with like a week and wouldn't be able to like stretch out my arms because I lifted way too heavy. So, I mean,
my arms feel heavy, and like I can't wash my hair some days. I'm like, oh my God. All right. So do you have any other questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. Will you on Facebook or text send me your email address, and then in a little bit I will send you my welcome email and the link to the application, and then you can go through that, and then we can meet up again.
Okay.
And I'll add you to the team page too, and that way you can see my social media prompts. But I'm doing like a contest and just trying to help you guys get better on social media.
Okay.
Bye, Farron.